Let's pick up some of those points with Ernesto Castañeda, who's director of the Center for Latin American and Latino Studies at the American University in Washington. Welcome to DW. We heard in the report ICE agents sometimes taking people away without warrants. So let's start there. Is that legal?
Hi, Phil. Thank you for having me. So in theory, yes, they can go to places where they suspect there are immigrants who may be in the country without papers, and they're allowed to ask for documentation. And if they don't have any, to take them. But the community is very alarmed because this is not what we had seen in the past. Ideally, for example, the Biden and the Obama administration had a priority list. So they would prioritize people with a criminal record. People that were dangerous criminals, they'll be the ones that they will have indeed the document, the name, the address, and then they will go and find them specifically. So they'll have a target list of people that the courts had already agreed to remove. And there will be an immigration judge that will have signed the warrant. Right. And now what we're seeing is as Stephen Miller increases the quotas, they are taking people more randomly.
Okay, and on that notion of randomness, is the expectation that everyone in the United States walks around with papers on them confirming their migration status? Because it will seem surprising to a lot of people that you can just walk into a place and say, you, show me your immigration papers.
That is indeed a problem, Phil. That's why a lot of people are worried. And that is not the law. I don't have to carry my passport around. I don't have to carry a documentation. Most people normally carry out the driver's licenses because they are driving or as a general ID. But sometimes that is not enough. In some states, immigrants can have a license. Right. So that is not enough to fend an immigration official. Okay. In the past, Arizona or Texas have passed laws to show me your papers, but nationwide, that's not the case.
So walk us through then what happens when ICE detains someone. Do they just disappear and then perhaps pop up again on a flight to Venezuela, or what happens?
Lately, we have literally been seeing that. Traditionally, the due process is that the person is detained and they're allowed to make a phone call to their lawyer or one family member who then can tell other people and a lawyer. And they tell the family where they are. There's a database online where you can find, look for the name of the person, and they will tell you they are detained in this office in downtown LA, so that the lawyers can go and try to help. And then the person would go in front of an immigration judge and try to say, no, I'm in the process of applying for asylum. I'm afraid for my deportation back to my country. I'm persecuted, and be allowed to show documents before they are put in a process of removal. If that is denied and they are not allowed, then they will be removed. But there is a very light process that most people lose, but there'll be a process. And what's happening with this administration lately is that people have been removed indeed to third countries without due process, and their families are not allowed to contact them, and the people detained are disappear because they are not allowed to contact their family members. Right. That's why there's a lot of anxiety. We also see that happening in LA these days.
Okay, but just to be clear, we have a duly elected president who said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to scoop up lots of illegal migrants. He has the absolute right to follow through on his campaign pledge and do what he said he was going to do, doesn't he?
Yes, but there's ways to do it. He could do this with regular ICE forces. He could do this following procedure, allowing the immigrants to make their case before they are deported, like previous administrations have done. Like he himself did during his first administration. He deported a lot of people, and there is a way. So it wasn't challenged. It wasn't. People couldn't challenge it in court. But in this time, he's doing it in a way that is going around immigration law.
And so when we hear the director of ICE's Boston office, as we did in that report, say that amongst the detained were murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, child sex predators, and members of violent transnational criminal gangs, what defense can there be against that?
Well, this administration is prone to exaggeration, and their own numbers that they post online show that it's a small percentage of the people that have been detained or deported that actually had a criminal record. Most of the people deported are deported because they are out of status, because they don't have current immigration papers, which is one thing, and they can do. But this argument that they are taking only the dangerous people from the communities and that most people deported are criminals is not true according to their own data.
Thanks for talking us through that, Ernesto. Ernesto Castaneda from the Center for Latin American and Latino Studies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.